influences the youth of our communities by exemplifying the virtues contained in the Scout Oath and Law. Previous honorees have included former Illinois Governor Richard Ogilvie and James Thompson, Garden International Chairman Bob White, former White House Chief of Staff Sam Skinner, NICOR CEO Thomas Fisher, CEO Edward Richardson of Richardson Electronics, Richard McCann of McCann Industries, Fred Norris, Jerry Rich, and former Speaker of the House J. Dennis Hastert. This year, we're pleased to present the award to a man who is a positive fixture in our community and in Scouting. Dan, please join us. Over the past 25 years, Dan Rigby has focused his entrepreneurial skills on the insurance and human resources industry. In addition to founding human resource management systems, Dan was president of ScriptSave Incorporated, a prescription drug management company. In 1989, he developed Illinois Health Search, a revolutionary computer-based search engine designed to help a small business employer make prudent health plan buying decisions. As a business leader, Dan is a strong advocate of continuing education, both within his businesses and in his business associations. Leading by example, Dan has advanced his professional career, his professional education by obtaining the designations of Life Underwriter, Training Council Fellow, Certified Distressed Property Expert, and Registered Health Underwriter from the American College. With his wife, Ann, Dan is actively involved in the Neuro Connection. The Neuro Connection is a neurofeedback practice with experts in advanced research-based connectivity-guided neurofeedback. Say that 2 times. A non-invasive, drug-free and painless intervention for children and adults with autism, ADHD, and other neurobiological conditions. Dan also is active in his community. He is a board member of Benedictine University and the Illinois State Chamber of Commerce. Dan served as chairman of the board for the Boy Scouts of America, Three Fires Council, and is the past president of the Business Executive Exchange. He has also served as a board member of the Naperville Chamber of Commerce, Merchants National Bank, and the United Way. Dan, it is our distinct honor to present you with the 2011 Distinguished Citizen Award. He's also a man that loves a microphone, so.
Sterling knows me well. I had about a 60-page talk that I was going to give you today, but I dropped it and the wind took it, so I'm down to 3. Like now. One of the things about getting old, I have to wear the glasses. I really want to thank you for the honor of being a distinguished citizen. I think a lot about the Boy Scouts of America. And 30 years ago, I was just happy that I was turning 21 years of age. And I was thinking a lot of people didn't think I was going to make 21 years of age, let alone 30 years later being a distinguished citizen. It just sounds so old, the word distinguished, But a long time ago, my parents were immigrants to the U.S. We moved from Canada to New York, Kentucky, West Virginia, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, and Illinois, all before I reached sophomore in high school. And it really didn't give me the opportunity to really settle in and become a scout somewhere. But I was a scout, and a Cub Scout. And the first thing that I learned from scouting was how to go fishing. We had this fishing outing, and ever since, I've been hooked on fishing, no pun intended. I fished for 100-pound tuna on 18-day trips to bass fishing tournaments all across the U.S. And I thank scouting for giving me something that simple, but a hobby that's lasted me the rest of my life. My dad was an engineer, not an outdoorsman. I learned how to fish because of that scout troop. But scouting provided awesome father and son time. My dad traveled a lot and was all about his career, time that we did get to spend together in scouting was one of my fondest memories. We were going on a scout jamboree in Mississippi, and we arrived late because my father and co-leader, Mr. Eisenbrand, was a computer engineer from LSU University, two really smart engineers. They didn't have a clue. They couldn't put up a tent to save their life. We got late to the jamboree, and they said everybody else was already there, and they set up the tent in this only open area. It was really neat. They had this open area they saved for us. They set the tents up, the doors facing up the hill. That night, we had the biggest torrential downpour. That opening was like a gully or something. All the water came into those tents and took the tents down the hill. So all the boys, we thought it was great. My dad, Mr. Eisenbrand, on the other hand, were a little concerned since all their clothes, they were in their boxers, and all their clothes were in the tents down at the bottom of the hill. So my dad, being a good Dubliner, very frustrated and upset with the whole situation, said, "We're going home. I'm packing you all up and we're going home." So he went and started the station wagon, came back, got us all ready, still in his boxers now, it's still pouring rain, and realized he locked the keys in the station wagon. So finally he woke somebody else up and they found some way to get into the car, and I just remember all of us getting piled into the back of the station wagon. We're heading home, and he's low on gas. I'll just never forget looking out the window and him at the gas station pumping gas into the car, still in his wet boxers. Funniest thing I've ever. I mean, it's just something that'll stick with me forever. And that was the one camping trip I had with my father. So, and a great memory. So, scouting's very important to me. We had a wonderful time. I wasn't a Boy Scout, and that was one of my biggest disappointments. I was too cool to be a Boy Scout. As I said, I was lucky to make it to age 21, and I didn't want to hang out and do whatever Boy Scouts do. They were too perfect for me. But it definitely was one of my biggest disappointments. I missed out on all those wonderful experiences. I missed out on the hikes and the camping trips. Experience that fortunately my son Michael got to experience in places like Sea Base and Philmont. And how cool is that, to be able to go spend a week somewhere and learn everything about the ocean and everything, or go to Philmont and be in this 300,000 acre facility where not that many people have had the chance to go. And that's really cool. Maybe if I had been distinguished at an earlier age, I would have been able to experience all that as well. That's so cool. So with the help of Dick McCann, one of the previous honorees here, I decided that to be an adult Boy Scout and do it through spirit and action. Bill Carroll, the president of Benedictine University, says that giving us of our time, talent, and treasure is what we need to do. And that's how I became a scout, by giving my time, talent, and treasure. But you know why I really became a scout or wanted to be involved in scouting? Because this great country can only continue to be great if we continue to espouse the spirit, follow the scout law, and the oath. If you think about, like you said earlier, it's the youth, and we are the only organization in the United States that gives them all those things, that gives them the groundwork and the basis to continue on in this country. There's a lot of stuff going on in this country. There's Occupy this and there's Occupy that. There's dishonesty and just so many bad things in this country. We need our youth to be trained and given those values. And that's what scouting can do. That's what the Scout Oath is about. And a lot of you people, I know my daughter probably doesn't know, my sister probably doesn't know what the Scout Oath is. But it's on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. To God and my country. We don't hear that all the time anymore. To obey the Scout law. To help other people at all times. To keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Morally straight. Come on, folks, that's nowhere else. We need Boy Scouts of America in this country. It is our future. We need to do it for our children and our children's children. And the Scout law, how could you go wrong with something like this? A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and most of all, reverent. And I can tell you, if we just all strive towards those things, we're well on our way to bringing America back to where it needs to be. With guidance like the Boy Scouts of America, we're on the right track. Do it for your future, your children's future. Support the Boy Scouts of America with your time, your talent, and your treasure, and you will also be distinguished. Thank you for supporting me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the Scouts, the other honorees. Thank you to my family as well, my beautiful bride Ann, and my 8 children. Sterling didn't mention I have 8 children. I'm pretty proud of it. And thank you to all the people who work at the Three Fires Council, because you make it possible to support 36,000 youth in this area. Thank you very much.